Like, if I could decide to be trans, I would not. I wouldn't be trans. Like, if I could decide it, I wouldn't. What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Keeping It Diverse channel. So you guys had some questions and I'm here to answer every single one of them because you guys never fail to ask awesome questions. First, I did want to say, for any of you guys that don't know, most of you probably don't, but I just started my first job out here in Arkansas this past week, so that was my first official week and we're alive. We're still breathing. So I know you guys know that I make content and that is also a source of my income, but I also wanted to get like your typical 9 to 5 just for a little while, just to make as much money as possible, pretty much, because it's rough out here, guys. It's rough. I did get a 9 to 5, which means I wanted to start incorporating more sit-down videos as of right now, and I'm still gonna keep some vlogs, but because Hunter's schooling and I'm now working and my girlfriend's working, it's gonna be way too hard to pump out vlogs week after week. So I'm gonna start incorporating my sit downs again. So if you guys do have any more questions, don't be afraid to ask, because I will do some sit downs surrounding one particular question at a time after this one, so I can get more in depth with the answer. I did want to shout out BOTH&APPAREL. This is not a sponsored video, but I wanted to shout them out because they are one of my favorite companies right now. They are a transgender owned company. They make trans, masculine, and non-binary merch. So things like this, if you have not had top surgery or if you have hip dysphoria, go shop at BOTH&APPAREL. I have extreme hip dysphoria. It sucks, and you guys know if you have it, you get it. But I have extreme hip dysphoria, so I'm always searching for oversized t-shirts, hoodies, and I don't really like clothes that like sit closely to my body because it shows too much shape. So I will leave a little picture right somewhere, like right here in pink, and it's just a very loose fitting, thick material shirt that hides all of your dysphorias, and I will leave a link down in the description if you are interested. I'm just trying to put you guys on because I know a lot of you guys also feel how I feel. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, we're gonna start easy. Do you have any chest workout tips for trans masc people who haven't had surgery? My answer to this will always be pull-ups, push-ups, dips. They are so easy. They're easy because you don't need to go to a gym. You can literally do them in your house. All you need is a pull-up bar you can get at Walmart for like 20 bucks, or you could go find one on Facebook Marketplace from someone that's selling it for much cheaper. And then push-ups and dips, you can do dips on the side of your bed, on your couch, or on a kitchen chair. And then push-ups, obviously you can do them right on the floor. So before I got into the gym, early in my transition, pre-top surgery and all that, I was doing push-ups and dips in my mom's house because I was still living with her at the time. And I would do it right in the kitchen. And then push-ups, I did them every morning and every night because it kind of kept me in like a flow of always getting in some type of workout, whether I wanted to or not. And it was very easy to just set a goal when I woke up and to set a goal right before bed. So typically I would do like 30 push-ups in the morning, 30 push-ups at night, and then anything else in between, I would do in between. And that is honestly where I built my foundation pre-top surgery. Then when I did go to have top surgery, it was already so easy for them to kind of shape my chest because it already had a natural shape from my pec muscles. Now, when you do work out and you still haven't had top surgery, you can't get rid of your chest solely from working out. That's not how it works because there's breast tissue in there. But what you can do is, like I said, you can start working out before you have surgery because it will help mold and shape your pectoral muscles and just make for a smoother top surgery. What was the most surprising response for you when you told someone you are trans? Love your content. First, thank you so much. Thank you for being a supporter. It means the world to me. I think the most surprising response I've gotten when I came out as trans, well, this situation I didn't come out as trans, somebody outed me. But the most surprising response I've gotten is very unfortunate. It's not something that is positive. And I will say, trigger warning for anyone that gets triggered by essay or things like that, then just skip over like 30 seconds. So one time somebody outed me, someone who was supposed to be a friend outed me to their friend, and the person didn't believe it, so much so that they thought it was a good idea to grab my crotch and see for themselves. And in the moment, I'm someone who gets very shy and doesn't speak up for themselves often in public. So in the moment, I didn't know what to do. I just kind of laughed it off. But then afterwards, when I processed it and told other people, they were like, yeah, you definitely should have called the cops. And I definitely should have, but again, in the moment, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react, and it caught me so off guard. It was like so shocking that they did that. So I would say that's the most surprising response I've ever gotten, and definitely not a good response. How do you deal with transphobia at family gatherings? Trying to prepare myself better this holiday season. Fortunately enough, all of the transphobic people are not in my life, really being my father. I didn't grow up with a dad. He was around till I was like 5 or 6, and then a lot of things happened, and eventually we split apart. So he's the only main one that's transphobic, and I have not seen him since I was like 6 years old. So I wouldn't go to say that I have transphobic family, because they're all very supportive. If anything, it's just lack of knowledge and education that looks like it would be transphobic. So again, no one in my family is transphobic. Sometimes things just are said unintentionally and not meant to hurt my feelings, and sometimes I am misgendered, but it is quickly corrected at this point. Back when it wasn't, and it was very new to them, the way I would try and help is just always correcting them when they misgendered me, like instantly. As soon as they said she, I was quick to say he. There's just some things you have to turn a blind eye to and just don't even entertain it. But things like getting misgendered or blatantly rude and obvious things, call people out for it, hold them accountable. Doesn't matter if they're 20 years older than you, doesn't matter if they're only 10 years old, hold people accountable, and that's the only way things will eventually change. And if they don't, then you know who doesn't really deserve a spot in your circle, I guess. How do you deal with the hate, both online and in real life, a trans teen? So I've been dealing with hate for so long. I purposely put myself out there, so I know that I'm gonna receive hate. It's part of the game, but I don't really let it bother me. Again, I guess I'm a pro at taking the bullying, because again, I put myself online, and online involves the entire world. So you just learn to grow tough skin. You have to learn to have tough skin in today's society, because even as a transgender advocate, I know I will not be able to make everyone accept me. That's not even what I'm trying to do. Like, if you have your opinion against me and you don't agree with who I am, then it is what it is. I can't change that. All I do is ask to be respected. Whether you believe I am a man or not, just respect me as a human being. Online, it's a lot easier to ignore it sometimes online, because I don't know these people in real life, and it's as easy as block or delete the comment. When you were undergoing the body changes as a result of T, was it problematic when people assumed you were younger than you were, but your actual gender? It got annoying, yeah, but like nowadays, I'm not mad at it, because now I really am getting older. So when I was like 19 years old, that's when I first cut my hair real short, started wearing masculine clothes, and so I did look really dainty and really small, and I also was not working out yet. Like, that was like when I was first being introduced into like fitness and bodybuilding and calisthenics and stuff. So I was very dainty and petite. Being really petite and being really short and presenting as a male with no facial hair at 19 years old, I did look very pre-pubescent. Like, I looked no older than 14, and I was indeed 19 years old. But now I'm almost 30. Now I'm almost 30 years old, and oh, that's such a gross thing, guys. I promise you, I'm not old. Like, when you guys are about to be 30, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm almost 30 years old and people still think I'm like 23. And if I shave my face, 20. So it did suck when I was in my teens because people thought I was like a preteen. But like now that I'm actually an adult, people still think I'm in my early 20s, and I could never be mad at that. Trans men typically do look very young because naturally we have softer features and we tend to be daintier, so it's to be expected. But that's why I got into fitness, to help with that. When did you decide to be trans, and what's your coming out story? All right, so I know this question was not out of disrespect. Somebody actually commented underneath it and kind of said what I'm about to say, but you can't decide to be trans. It's not a costume. It's not a career path. You can't decide it. You can't choose it. It's not a choice. And there's such a huge debate. I'm actually going to make a whole video just specifically on this because I can't spend too much time on it right now, but you cannot decide to be trans. And I laugh because it, like, when you say it out loud, it sounds silly. Like, if I could decide to be trans, this, I would not. I wouldn't be trans. Like, if I could decide it, I wouldn't. And I say that because of just, why would I want to be bullied all the time just because? But I know what you meant, but I just wanted to use that as kind of an example for people who genuinely think you can choose. But I do know what you meant. And when did I know, like, when did I start transitioning and when did I put two and two together that I was trans? Very early in life. I was like 6 or 7, and that's the case for a lot of people, but not all. I didn't know what the word trans meant until I was in 11th grade, and that, I think, makes it a lot more serious and a lot more of a better example to prove that it is not a choice and that it's not like parents are pushing it on us. Because when I was growing up, all of this trans talk was not a thing, like not a thing at all. This just started becoming an internet thing maybe 5 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago. Like, this is still new online. It's always been around, but it's new online. And so when I started feeling dysphoric when I was like 6 years old, there was no internet like there is today. So, and my mom definitely was not pushing it on me. So this is not something that was a push for me. And the term transgender was not a thing in my head. And by then, I've already felt so dysphoric from the ages of 6 to 16. I knew something was different about me, and I didn't know why, because there was no outside influence. It just was something in my head where I was like, hey, like, I don't feel right. I don't feel like a female. I see all these boys around me, and I feel like them, and I relate with them, but I'm so pushed in society to go in this opposite direction, and it makes me feel really, really uncomfortable. And there's no other way to explain it but that. And then when I got to 11th grade, there was this kid that was transgender, and he started telling me about how he was transitioning and all this stuff, and it was so foreign to me, I didn't understand. So I went home and I went online and I looked up the few YouTube videos that there were about trans people transitioning, and I have never felt so happy in my entire life until seeing these videos. I finally felt like I knew who I was. I finally felt like there was an answer to why I felt how I felt, because all the years growing up I would pray and pray on my birthdays to be a boy, and I would always ask my mom if I could do things that boys did and all that, and I always got shut down all the time. And it was finally something that could fix how I felt for all these years with no answers. Kind of lost where I was. I decided to transition. Now, you can decide to transition or not, but you can't decide to be trans. I decided to transition when I was about 20 years old because I was an adult. I knew no one could stop me, and I was just ready for that next step. Last but not least, this is probably my favorite question. I'm gonna make a whole video on this one as well because I have a lot to say about it. But so how has life been since you moved to Arkansas? Are there any transphobic people in Arkansas? Guys, when I tell you, people have been so dramatic in my comments when I first moved, like crazy dramatic. And so I've been here for about a month now, so this is why I want to make a full video on this, because I want to speak on my experience thus far. Now, there are racist and transphobic people in Arkansas. There's no doubt about it. But there are transphobic and racist people everywhere. It doesn't matter what state you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in the South. It is everywhere. It just depends what part you are in. That is all. Now, me being a transgender black person, I obviously know where to move and where not to move. And I promise you, I did not move anywhere close to the transphobic or racist areas of Arkansas. I am in probably one of the most diverse, and I mean diverse in the LGBTQ way and in the African American population way. I have moved in probably one of the most diverse areas of Arkansas. It is more diverse than where I was raised for the past 28 years, 29 years of my life. I would say I have not experienced anything. If anything, I would experience, and this is not just in Arkansas, this is anywhere, I would experience more racism than transphobia anywhere I go. Because when people first see me, they see my skin color. They don't see, oh, is that a woman? Is that a man? No one can tell. Nobody can tell I'm trans. Nobody will ever be able to tell I'm trans. I walk around this earth fully as a male, and nobody thinks different. Nobody bats an eye about it. So, if anything, I would deal with racism anytime before transphobia. So far, I haven't dealt with either one. Every now and again, me and my girlfriend, we get like stares from like older white people, and that's simply because some of them still aren't used to seeing interracial couples. So it's not even hateful looks, it's just more like curiosity, and I just bite back by staring back at them, and they, trust me, they quickly look away. Besides that, as for transphobia, I haven't dealt with anything. Again, I will make a full video on this because, like I said, so many people were trying to like scare me out of moving, and it's like, y'all be so dramatic, like so dramatic. And the reason I say that and have no respect behind the people that were saying it is because I can tell when someone's genuinely looking out for me, and then I can tell when people are just being haters and just want to be a negative Nancy because maybe they're stagnant in life and don't have the confidence to do something like move away from home and go far away. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for asking all the questions that you did. Please, if you guys liked anything out of this video, like, comment, and subscribe. The channel is continuously growing. We are almost at 50,000 subscribers. And as always, I love you. Stay true. Be you. Bye, guys.